Hello, hello, right, okay, thank you so much, and sorry again for cutting that short. It was a very interesting conversation, but we do need to press on with things. Our next keynote speaker will be Pinar Aksu, who is a human rights activist based in Glasgow. Her involvement with asylum and refugee rights began at a young age, and she currently works with the Maryhill Integration Network as a development officer and with active inquiry using theatre of the oppressed methods. She is a committee member at the Right to Remain, Glasgow Campaign to Welcome Refugees, Stand Up to Racism Scotland, and World Spirit Theatre. Pinar will be giving a keynote and provide an introduction to theatre of the oppressed within the keynote, and this will be followed by a workshop using some of the methods which some of you will have signed up for at registration. And if you haven't signed up for registration, we would like to invite you to continue to invest in Jasmina's work downstairs, to look at the kind of reading materials and the study materials downstairs too. So please join me in welcoming Pinar Aksu to the stage. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Thank you for inviting me over to Dundee all the way from Glasgow. I'm a bit ill, so I apologize if I zone out at some points. Like you said, my name is Pinar Aksu, and I'm a human rights activist, and I also do theatre, and I also work in different areas. But today I'm going to put my hat on as a theatre maker and talk about kind of the work I do in that area. With the work with Active Inquiry and World Spirit Theatre, one of the key things that we do is we engage with the audience using creativity and theatre when talking about difficult topics and issues. Especially with World Spirit Theatre, we've been working with people seeking asylum and refuge. So the group itself is formed by people with direct experience, including myself, whether this is in the asylum process, migration, or migration or moving somewhere else, or facing detention, or still in the asylum process. So for us, recently we've done a play called Where Are You Really From? And we've actually, as a group, never had asked each other where we were really from. And when we were talking, we kind of discovered that it's something that people get asked, and it's something that's kind of becoming visible recently because of, well, I'm assuming because of all the political issues that's happening, especially with Brexit, and also using migration as a way of justifying why UK should leave the EU, and it's just opened cans of racist in our communities and in our streets. So when we all discovered that we get asked where we're from, and we get saying things like, "Oh, you've got a nice accent, but where is it from?" And we get asked "Where are you from?" And when you say Glasgow, and then they're like, "Yeah, but originally," and you're like, "I don't know, was born here," and they're like, "Yeah, but your parents, where are they from? Can you tell us?" And it's that thing of wanting to know more about you, and it's like if I meet someone first time, I'm not going to just say, "Oh, where are you from?" Tell me now. You have to justify yourself. So as a group, we've discovered that that's something that's happening and ongoing at the moment. And because of, like I said, because of Brexit and a lot of the racist politicians, it's something that a lot of the people are facing at the moment. So with that play, what we've been aiming to do is we've been going to communities and performing at audiences which are, I say, not converted. So rather than performing at refugee festivals or performing at people who are kind of sympathizing towards migration, we try to perform at areas where we will have difficult topics and conversations. One example is we went to perform in a community where it was very middle class, and the average age in the audience was 60, 70-year-old, and it was just Scottish white, and it was quite racist to begin with. Usually when we perform afterwards, we have a discussion, and the first audience kind of reflection we had was, "So where are you from?" And it was oh my goodness, seriously? But we tend to, rather than shouting and just being like, well, you can't say that, we tend to talk and just create a conversation and dialogue and actually ask about why do you have the need to ask these questions, or why do you want to find out why we really left the countries and what are we doing here. So questioning these kind of aspects. And when we create our plays, we don't tend to have like a script where somebody writes and then we just act it out. We create the plays with ourselves, so we look at the experiences that we have and we had and what we are facing. So the method we use is called Theatre of the Oppressed. Does anyone know? Hands up, show if you know it. Way, lots of people. So the method is called Theatre of the Oppressed, and it was developed by a Brazilian activist called Augusto Boal. And it's actually used, in Scotland, in New York, and quite a lot actually in Europe at the moment. And the way that Theatre of the Oppressed has is it's got different branches where you could do forum theatre, where you could do invisible theatre, and you could also do legislative theatre, which we have just tried out this week in Edinburgh with Active Inquiry, where you concentrate on a topic and you try to pass a legislation by having a councillor or a lawyer or a policymaker in the room. And the legislation is written by the audience, and you have to follow up, obviously, if you want to really make the change. But it's a form of creating the change. So today I thought, obviously there's lots of speeches, and it's after lunch, and it's getting afternoon, and it's a long day. So I'm going to kind of disturb the area. So we're going to do, I've never done a workshop with this number of people, but it's all a test. And if you do want to stay around for it, please do. If not, like it's been mentioned, you can go around, have tea, coffee, or look at the exhibition. So what we're going to do is, we're going to move maybe the first few rows of the chairs in here, and we're going to put them aside, and we're going to create a huge, massive circle. So we've got a couple of minutes to do that. So right now. So, so put the chairs kind of back.
Campaigns
Michael
with
exactly, and Lisa and
exactly, yeah.
So if all the chairs are put aside, we're going to create the circle over here. Okay, so we're going to... I'll use the mic just to explain the game. We're going to start with a couple of warm-up games, and then we're going to create some scenes. We'll see what happens. So the first game we're going to do is you're going to say your name, and then you're going to say a positive word beginning with the first letter of your name. So my one would be, hold on, wait, how do, like Pinar, anything positive, so I'll, positive. Or actually I was going to use polite. So I'll be polite, Pinar, and everybody copies, right? So polite, Pinar. Polite, Pinar.
Jockey John.
Jockey John. You can also bend. Don't be crazy with it. Don't go wild with it. We're going to start off gently, so don't worry, and then we're going to swap around. You will get the bridge. Okay, thank you. So we want to, so Ace.